coming back to our topic, language is a tool.
It becomes just, you see it as it is. It's a tool now.
Yeah. So you were basically, language is a byproduct of you trying to immerse yourself in the virtual world of playing games.
I don't want to use the word immerse. I was obsessed. I was so obsessed with playing the game. I didn't care how it sounded like. I didn't care what it mattered. I just needed to be able to communicate so I can be an excellent team player in the game.
So how did you, I mean, obviously it's very very helpful for you to learn it spoken English through World of Warcraft. But in terms of formal learning, obviously you need a foundation of grammar. You need all this, like, in a sense, in a rule to make sure that your English is not only, let's say, good enough for communication, but also good enough for written and formal occasions.
Yeah, this is something that came much, much later. How I was able to articulate my thoughts and ideas came much, much later. It was actually university period. Before that, I was just, you're 17, 18. What do you know about anything? And I think it's a vigorous. I was fortunate to have some excellent tutors at university, and the subject I studied was, pretty much politics, and politics, IR, history, and you have to produce a very, very intense, rigorous paper that's, many, many pages. And you're trying to explore an idea. And one thing I think that comes back to the education, I guess on a broad level, what I have found in the British education, or at least university education, if you're really into soaking up what they have to offer, is the ability to think critically. So it's not about how much topic, what's the breadth of the topic that you're aware of, because many of the topics that's already happened, they've been discussed. It really is your ability to go really, really deeply on a specific point and trying to understand the fundamental level of why this is the case, which is almost like Ray Dalio's principle. You go different layers.
I think it's quite interesting because how I learned English definitely through a different way. I grew up in China, and I think I was able to speak English fluently maybe at the age of 14 or 15. Despite I have never been abroad until 18 years old, and also didn't have any like English tutor or foreign teacher, things like that in my high school or in my town at that time. My way of doing it is almost like you are obsessed with games. I was quite obsessed about Western culture, American TV series. At that time, I remembered there was a magazine called Crazy English, not the Li Yang Crazy English, but it was a magazine Crazy English. So every month they will have a album out, a volume out, which contains introduction of American TV series, songs, lyrics. I was really obsessed about the contents, and in order to understand the contents, I was listening to that. So it's also an audio book in a sense. They have the physical book, but also have either a cassette or later on, ancient, either a cassette or a CD player. So you can play in your CD player. So I was listening to it every day and learning the English songs in it as well. There's one way for me to actually create an English environment for myself. And on the other hand, I also like to talk to myself. As
we all do.
As we all do. Also, because like most Chinese kids, our generation, I'm also the only child. So a lot of time is spent by myself. I like to play, let's say, drama in my head. It's not because I have like multiple identities, but I just like the kind of like storytelling in my own head, create like story about 5 different characters. So instead of spoke to myself in Chinese, I speak to myself in English in certain characters. So I put a foreign character in my head and say, oh, what would I spoke if I were a foreigner? How would I do that? So in this way, I not only create myself an English environment, but also create myself a way of communication of practicing that.